Hey there folks, welcome back to CYPTV. Share, like, leave a comment, hit that hype button. Welcome to the Cype Zone. Without further ado, let's get right to the videos.
The Lorax costume epidemic needs to be studied. So this year for Halloween, almost every single girl has unanimously decided to go as the Lorax. I blame you for this, Ashby. Now, there's been a ton of videos of girls going to their schools dressing up as the Lorax in groups, and everyone online has started to notice it and label it the pretty girl humor costume of the year. And all the girls that want to be different and revolt against the Lorax costume trend are dressing up as Mr. Bobinski instead, which looks very Lorax adjacent if you ask me. But girls aren't the only ones following TikTok Halloween costume trends this year, because guys, y'all have y'all's own version of the Lorax Halloween costume this year too. The popular guy version of the Lorax costume is just dressing up as Steez, and trust me, it is just as bad as the Lorax. This means that Halloween 2025 might actually end up being the most boring Halloween ever. Every girl will be dressed as the Lorax, and every guy will be dressed as Steez, and everyone that doesn't do one of those costumes will be dressed as someone from K-pop Demon Hunters. You know, this kind of makes me miss the days when people are dressing as Anka from Animal Crossing now.
House of Representatives guy Tim Burchett was just on Tucker Carlson talking about a football stadium-sized UFO going through the ocean 500 miles an hour.
A ranking member of the Navy described some underwater experiences they'd had with something that was doing 200 miles. And the best thing we got is probably 40.
It was doing 200 miles an hour underwater?
Underwater, big as a football field, and that's no fish.
So is it possible, given our current understanding of physics, for any man-made machine to go anywhere near 200 miles an hour underwater?
Not with our technology, no. The best we have is probably in the high 30s. And he was converting it. Of course, knots is what the Navy guys would do, but there's nothing.
If I fire a 30-06 or any high caliber rifle underwater, it doesn't go 200 miles an hour. I can probably catch it in the length of a swimming pool or so.
Yeah, or it just falls down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like,
so we've got, and this was described to me in areas, and I was quoted on some. I was just all I do is quote people that have knowledge. But this was one that was he was talking about. There were 5 or 6, I think, deep water areas of the ocean. You've traveled a lot. I have not. There's not a lot of deep water areas around East Tennessee at Fort Loudon Lake or anything, but they're talking miles deep. And of course, you've heard this before. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do the surface of the ocean. And he said these are areas where we see a high propensity of these UFOs.
So you're telling me, this is my impression of Tucker Carlson. So you're telling me that there's a football team that's aliens in the ocean? And they just scored a touchdown going 500 miles an hour? That doesn't make any sense.
You notice how more and more information is coming out for the UFOs, UAPs, the aliens? It's because they're getting us prepared. So when they do introduce themselves to us, we aren't as in shock. They're basically getting us ready for when the aliens come out of the dark.
You ever notice how every time black people start building peace, something happens to break it? Because here's the thing, they don't want revenge. They don't want to take over anything. They just want to be left alone to live, love, raise their families, exist in peace. But peace doesn't make headlines. Peace doesn't sell fear. So every few years, something just happens. A story, an outrage, a spark, and suddenly everyone's divided again. The same cycle over and over, like someone out there wants the wound to stay open. See, they want society to believe there's some hidden war between races, when in truth, the real battle isn't between black and white. It's between the people and the system that profits from keeping them apart. They talk about equality, but the moment unity starts to form, here come the distractions, political chaos, social media outrage, psychological operations dressed as news. You think that's coincidence? No, it's control. Because a peaceful, united people can't be manipulated, but a divided people, they'll fight each other forever while the real enemy stays invisible. So maybe the truth is this. Black people don't want to rule, they just want to exist. But someone, somewhere, made sure peace would always look like rebellion.
This is just a theory, not a fact.
They also want to keep us distracted from the truth that's out there. And if we unite, they know we could take over. That's another reason.
Let me tell you how Scientology is infiltrating your kids' schools. Hi, I'm Jenna Miscavige. My uncle is the leader of Scientology, and I escaped when I was 22. Scientology knows their reputation is horrible, so they infiltrate your schools using 4 main front groups: Foundation for a Drug-Free World, Youth for Human Rights, United for Human Rights, and The Way to Happiness. They try to hide the connection to Scientology, but you can find it easily online through a quick Google search. Any helpful information Scientology puts out under these groups can be gotten from other organizations that aren't just fronts for a dangerous human trafficking cult. If you think this couldn't happen in your school, let me tell you something. My friend Mike Brown, who grew up just like me as a child Scientology slave, who then escaped and then helped his elderly mom escape many years later, moved all the way across the country, came home this week to find out that his own teenage daughter was being indoctrinated with Scientology information in her health class under the guise of Foundation for a Drug-Free World. Can you imagine escaping Scientology, helping your mother escape, helping others escape, just to find out that they're getting to your daughter right in her own school? This isn't the first or last time this will happen. So please ask your kid and their teachers if they're being exposed to Scientology through one of these organizations. And if so, let school officials know that these are just front groups for Scientology.
If you're enjoying this video, I put several videos out a week. It'll be amazing if you hit the subscribe button and join me in the next video.
So what exactly are we dealing with here? This technology is thousands of years ahead of us, and I don't think you quite understand what we're really up against. We recently had another UAP hearing in September 2025. Guess that's just a yearly thing now, where US House representatives, former and active military personnel, and other government whistleblowers once again testified before Congress under oath, which means if they're lying, they go to jail. Stakes are high. And they really spilled the tea on this one, which our mainstream news just refuses to cover. And I'm warning you, this might be a little disturbing, because they revealed how insanely advanced these UAPs really are, making our modern day military technology look like sticks and stones in comparison. If these things decide they don't like us, we are so cooked. With active duty Navy officers speaking on countless reports of flying objects coming out of the ocean and moving in ways and at speeds that defy physics. We've heard all that before, but this is the video from the hearing that everyone was talking about, and no one has been able to explain it, showing POV footage from an MQ-9 drone tracking an unknown orb moving at ridiculous speeds off the coast of Yemen on October 30th, 2024. This is what an MQ-9 drone is, by the way, basically a remote-controlled airplane. And while it's tracking this orb, another MQ-9 drone off-screen fires a Hellfire missile towards it. For reference, this is what a Hellfire missile looks like in action. Yeah, it does some damage. But strangely enough, when the missile makes contact with the orb, it kind of just bounces right off and continues on without detonating. And the orb itself just kind of loses balance for a bit while continuing to travel at these high speeds. But the really weird part is this debris that appears to have fallen off the orb from the missile impact that just continues to travel alongside the orb at these same insane speeds, which some are attributing to some form of advanced magnetic or gravitational technology that holds all pieces of the craft together even when they're separated. After wobbling for a bit, the UAP regains control and goes right back to cruising along, flicking away a military-grade Hellfire missile like a fly and going along like nothing even happened. This is more than a little concerning. If our cutting-edge military technology can't stop what's probably just a recon drone, what's going to happen when they bring in the whole fleet? Our military has known this for decades, and it's why they didn't want this information public. They have no idea how to defend against these, and admitting that to the world would likely cause mass panic. The panel also held George Knapp, a known ufologist who admits he has heard of these incidents before, but this was his first time actually seeing it on video, and also says that all the UAP videos that have been made public so far are just the tip of the government's full archive, and what they're not showing us is far more terrifying than anything we've seen so far. Knapp goes on to explain a classified Soviet incident that happened in 1982 where UFOs popped up over an ICBM missile base in Russia, where they hovered around the base, split apart, fused together, and a bunch of other crazy maneuvers for over 4 hours, when all of a sudden the launch control codes for the ICBM missiles at that base lit up, meaning they were engaged and ready to launch, and the only way to do so is if you had the codes, which are supposed to be top secret. No one at the base authorized this, and the Soviet officers also couldn't shut it down. They panicked for a bit, not sure what to do, but eventually the UAPs left and the missiles disengaged. A technical internal post-analysis of this event didn't find any errors or malfunctions at the facility on this day, which means these UFOs can control our planet's missile defense systems whenever they want, and there was nothing we could do about it. It almost came off as a sort of message from them, like, hey yo, this is what we can do, don't f with us. And so we proceeded to f with them. As we see in this thermal image video that came out a few years ago, this one wasn't from the recent hearing, where a swarm of unknown glowing orbs showed up outside a military base in Afghanistan in 2011, which were also shot at by missiles, except these were completely unaffected. They just ate the missiles like they were nothing and remained perfectly still. No one can explain how they did this. These orbs are like indestructible. When switching to standard vision, we see the orbs glowing, pulsating in pink, orange, and yellow, moving in formation at extraordinary speeds. And we have no idea what these were. And again, these are just the videos that have been released or leaked to the public. As mentioned in the hearing, the vast majority of the videos are still hidden and highly classified, and apparently much more concerning than anything we've seen so far. With even more official Air Force testimonies who reveal seeing a massive football field-sized triangular UAP that appeared in the sky above a critical launch site before shooting off at impossible speeds. Just try to imagine aircraft larger than a football field hovering completely silent above your head and then zipping away faster than our physics allows. These are real testimonies by real military personnel. We have no idea what in the we're up against here. And the most disturbing part is when Air Force veteran Dylan Borland revealed how they actively silenced and threatened him from talking about what he saw. That after he reported the UAP sightings he witnessed at Langley Air Force Base in 2012, the higher-in commands intentionally tried to ruin his life, experiencing professional sabotage, explicitly being told not to speak of what he saw, getting harassed by supervisors, and denial of future work opportunities, creating a stigma of being crazy around anyone who speaks out about this to discredit the sightings and prevent this information from being made public knowledge. These UAP hearings give us the transparency and the witness protection to the whistleblowers so that we, the people, can know what is happening. And to the best of our knowledge, these UAPs are not ours or anyone's on this planet. No visible propulsion system, no fuel tanks, no wings, rotors, or tails, and we have no idea how they fly or operate. And now they're apparently indestructible as well, and the fact that they're not retaliating is almost even more concerning. Like, are they waiting for something? Are they just that friendly that they don't care when we shoot missiles at them? Or are they gonna wake up one day and decide they don't like us?
All the conspiracies that people thought were crazy are actually coming true. Check this out.
I grew up with a conspiracy theorist father.
So?
And it's just so crazy to think how so many conspiracy theories that if you said in maybe like 2011, 2012, 2013, people look at you like you're crazy.
Yep.
They're all coming into fruition, if not have already came into fruition. Like, for example, right, if you were to tell people, oh, they're listening to you on your phones and they're in there, you know, like using that to program you.
We know that's a fact now.
Crazy. But now it's common knowledge that our phones listen to us and use that in order to advertise to us. If you were to say that there's a new world order that's being put into place in order to make basically everybody slaves, to make the rich get richer, people would look at you like you were crazy. Now that's just like, oh my God, that's just internet fodder. If you were to say that music is used to program people to think a certain way, act a certain way, in order to make certain demographics go into lifestyles that harm them, people would look at you like you were crazy. Some people still do in this day and age, but a lot of people are getting more hip to the truth. And I just think it's so funny because it's like, it just
people are waking up.
They try to discredit people and say, oh, these are conspiracy theories, these things are crazy. When truth is always going to be stranger than fiction. Like, truly, a lot of stuff that people acting like was so crazy, it's happening.
Yeah, the people are waking up. Now imagine the conspiracies that's coming out today, 10 years in the future from now. They'll all be true.
¿Escucharon? ¿Escucharon eso? Mira allá abajo. Hola. Hola.
Don't forget to follow me for your dose of nightmare fuel.
He woke up to some strange noises, then he sees this. A man who lives alone was fast asleep one night, when all of a sudden he woke up to a strange sound, and started to feel a heavy sensation on his chest, even though he's all alone. So he records the room and sees this. What looks like a dark shadow figure can be seen quickly entering the room and moving past his camera view, before its head can be seen again peeking out on the left side before the video ends. The man states at the time he didn't see anything with his eyes until replaying the footage. Till this day, he has no idea who or what visited him that night.
Did y'all hear about the McDonald's in Germany that was serving people human meat for 7 months and nobody found out until one of the employees found a wedding ring engraved in one of the meats? Yes. So at this McDonald's, the manager wanted to cut costs so they could make more profit. They started to purchase their meat wholesale from a local meat supplier. The meat supplier was way more affordable and it just made sense for the company. One day when one of the employees was a 19-year-old employee named Emma, she was literally preparing burgers. She found something hard inside one of the burgers. She pulled it out and it was a wedding ring engraved "Forever Yours, Anna 2018." She told the manager and the manager called the police immediately. The police did an investigation and turns out the meat was human meat. The local meat supplier that McDonald's had switched over to, that local meat supplier was literally in business with a corrupt funeral home owner, and that funeral home owner was literally selling him those bodies. And the local meat supplier was also taking the bodies from the funeral home, and he was just taking homeless people off the street that had nobody checking for them. He would mix 70% real beef with 30% human meat. That's why his prices were so cheap. When the police raided the local meat supplier's place, they found everything from human flesh to beef mixed with human meat. It was disgusting. Backtrack because they were trying to let all of the customers know what they had been eating. Over 2,400 people ate human flesh and human meat. And the police also did research and saw that when they started serving the human meat, sales went up by 40%. People were like, oh my God, like, give me some more of this special meat. It tastes different, but better. That is wild. That McDonald's is now shut down permanently. And of course, everyone was arrested. That is...
This is one of those examples of the conspiracy theories that's turning out to be true. Could that be what's coming to us with this social credit thing? It just blacklists you like that and you can't survive or feed your family. You'll be forced to get the online ID and do it.
Y'all noticed every time the Epstein list gets brought up, something bad happens in the world? Check this out.
Epstein files, Charlie Kirk's death.
Yep.
Where's the Epstein files? War with Venezuela. Where's the Epstein files? Bomb in Iran. Where's the Epstein files? Arrest political opponent. Where's
Every time.
Agents undercover during January 6th. Where's the Epstein files?
Guess what?
Oh, God damn, that list gotta be a motherfucker.
They're all on it.
Then they're withholding an Arizona representative who said she was going to sign the bill in Congress that would release the files.
Guess what?
They won't even let her swear in, so she can't get the vote.
It's not just Republicans. They're all on it. The Democrats, Republicans, left, right, they're all on it. That's why neither party is pushing for this list to really come out. None of the major figures in each party. And this guy's got a point. Every time somebody mentions the Epstein list, something crazy happens. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weak.
Can you imagine how deep that Epstein list is with powerful people, that they're willing to kill people and start wars just to distract us from the Epstein list?
Before I get in here, somebody showed me a TikTok video of a pregnant woman at 8 months pregnant. She is an associate professor at the Columbia Medical School, and she is saying F Trump and gobbling Tylenol with her baby in her placenta.
You know, when a fetus is developing, where in the mother's body does it grow?
In the uterus.
And what does the placenta do?
It's the blood vessels that feed the baby while it's growing.
And you are in what grade? 11th. Thank you.
They went to explore an abandoned radiated mine when they find out something lives there. A man from Russia named Laren decided to explore several abandoned uranium mines located in the city of Yangibat, Uzbekistan. The place was once used for the development of nuclear weapons, but now sits abandoned since 1990 as a ghost town. As Laren and company explore several locations, he finds no traces of life. But while exploring a specific cave deeper in town, he makes his way to the bottom and finds his pin to the abyss. And as they get closer, they hear this. A loud bang is heard. Then some kind of creature or living thing can be heard screaming somewhere down there. Knowing it's impossible for anyone to be living in these mines, they run out of there.
So what if Starlink satellites aren't just falling because of solar storms or the excuses they're giving us? What if something or someone doesn't want to be watched? For weeks, people across the world are looking at the sky and seeing these fiery fireball streaks cutting across the darkness. And what's the official story? Controlled re-entry, solar activities. They even go as far as saying that it's planned decommissioning, but I don't believe it. So when I started digging deeper, I then received a prophetic flash. That's when a different picture started to emerge. So imagine the heavens not as an empty space. Imagine it more like an ocean full of living beings. And for centuries and millennia, we've been told about ancient gods that control the skies. These Anunnaki gods, they veiled their movements. They punished those that disobeyed. Don't you dare watch what I'm doing. And even in biblical texts, we have these angels, these fiery watchers that guard their domain fiercely, okay? From the Anunnaki's forbidden knowledge, all the way to the Watchers of Enoch. By the way, the Watchers of Enoch, they descended in secret also, remember? Fast forward to now, where we've built these thousands of eyes in the sky, these satellites. Okay, so we have all of these metallic satellites up in the sky, but what happens when now something enters the waters of space? What if these interstellar currents are carrying, I don't know, explorers? That would make sense on why we've never encountered these beings before, right? So let's get back to the Starlink, Elon Musk things, right? These satellites are crashing down. Why? So right now, Elon Musk's Starlink constellation circles Earth in a low orbit. It's meant to give global internet coverage, but it also forms one of the densest observation nets humanity has ever created. Alongside that, there's the Swan satellite, or to better say, the Swan Satellite Network. This is a lesser-known web of advanced surveillance system capable of scanning not just Earth, but the near-space environment with unprecedented precision. And again, we go back to, in recent months, dozens of Starlink satellites have been deorbiting. It's something weird, and it's something no one expected. Okay, so SpaceX had to come out and explain what was happening. Why are these satellites deorbiting? They say that some are intentionally done, others unexpectedly. They're giving excuses like accelerated by atmospheric drag. Then it says that they're bringing some of them down, but I don't know. Scientists point at solar storms. But you guys, the pattern isn't random. Listen to this. These deorbits have clustered along key orbital corridors, the very same one SWAN uses. And they do that for deep space surveillance and observation. It's almost as someone is clearing the lanes, you know what I mean? And then, my friends, there's the 3-Eye Atlas. This isn't your typical gray alien, okay? This is a civilization for what I've pieced together. We have patterns, we have sky anomalies, we have the ancient myth overlays, the Anunnaki, and several other extraterrestrial races. So it's up for grabs who they are. The thing is this is not teleporting through portals like a higher elevated being would. I mean, we have advanced beings that are teleporting through wormholes. These guys are like swimming in the cosmos. They're gliding between star systems. They're cruising, right? Just think about it. If you were exploring a new world, would you let that planet's private tech company beam at you and look at you and tell the military industrial complex that they're working with what's going on? You wouldn't want that, right? So how far-fetched would it be that a UFO extraterrestrial race would want these satellites down? I mean, if it was me, if I was one of these Anunnaki coming back, I'd want to black out the sky too. I mean, we can't have the watchers being watched, right? You know what I mean? And that's when it clicked, you guys. The Swan Network watches the skies. Starlink blankets our planet, but now we have someone watching them. It's peering back at them, you know what I mean? I just think that the 3-Eye Atlas is approaching Earth not through portals, but through the cosmic currents. That's what it looks like. They detect our surveillance net, Starlink, Swan, ground arrays, all tuned to pick up anomalies. So them, it's like swimming in a coral reef covered in cameras. So one by one, now the cameras are going dark.
All Satan has to do is bribe you with some candy and a costume to get you to celebrate something demonic. That's sad, bro. Every single year there's a group of Christians that want to celebrate Halloween and they'll fight you tooth and nail, bro. They will push Halloween more than they push the gospel. How many people have to come out of the occult, out of Satanism, out of witchcraft, being a warlock, all these crazy things, and literally warn Christians not to celebrate Halloween? Story time. When I was in witchcraft, bro, on the day of Halloween, the spirit gods, which were demons that I thought were angels, will literally give me missions on Halloween. A lot of y'all have zero to no discernment of spiritual things and spirits, and that's sad. If you fought to have discernment as much as you fight to celebrate wickedness and darkness, you'd understand. You see, because I understood that in the spirit, we needed permission. I remember my first big mission in New Orleans, the day of Halloween, before we went outside to go pray over streets and businesses and people. I asked the spirit guys, like, hey, like, don't we need permission? Don't we need to ask them before we come here and bless approval? This is what each and every single one of my spirit guys, I had 7, told me. Emmanuel, their participation in Halloween is their agreement. It is the open door. They already gave permission in the spirit by celebrating. When they decorate their home and make their home participate in Halloween, you have access to their home. When they put out all the stuff in their businesses, you have access to their business. When they dress up their kids and make their kids participate, you have access to their kids. When they dress up their pets and go out with their pets dressed up, you have access to their pets. I thought I was blessing people, but I was really cursing them. You have one eye covered by candy and another eye covered by costumes, so no wonder you can't see evil. Despite there being so many scriptures against why you shouldn't celebrate Halloween, y'all will still tell us that we're being legalistic. Stay away from all appearance of evil, but for one day a year, a church will say, we're going to do trunk or treat and we're going to try to redeem evil. Your children found no value in Halloween until you made them feel like they were missing out. We're going to go mingle with the world on a holiday that celebrates death and fear and blood and gore, and we're going to celebrate as a ladybug right next to the vampires and the witches. We're going to dress up as an angel, you know, just like Satan, he masquerades as an angel of light. We're going to do that too. What are we doing wrong? We're just knocking on a door with 5,000 pentagrams on it to get some candy. There shouldn't be a problem because we're dressed like marine spirits. I mean, the Little Mermaid. Every single year you make a covenant with this holiday. Every single year you don't realize you're participating in a mass ritual with your kids. I just can't comprehend what part of Halloween is holiness. I was on the other side in the occult, in witchcraft, and I will laugh at Christians for going out and celebrating Halloween because they were so ignorant. I was always so confused as why the children of the light, for one day of the year over candy and a costume, they would fellowship with darkness.
These videos are for entertainment and education. Real or fake, fact or fiction. Let me know what you think about these videos down in the comments section. I'd like to thank you for watching. Until next time, this is CYPTV and I'm out.